Once again, this is Ken Kibler, Director of Training and Client Business Support for eTruckBiz. Want to thank everybody for joining us today as we go through some of our normal topics, as well as we seem to be having a lot of people getting into the business and expanding CSAs. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Jeff Walczak.
Okay, thank you, Ken. And as we have to remind everybody all the time, eTruckBiz is not endorsed, sponsored, approved, or otherwise affiliated with FedEx Corporation. Okay, and just to remind folks, eTruckBiz is business support for FedEx service providers. eTruckBiz helps you organize, optimize, and maximize so that you can capitalize on Network 2.0. Keep in mind, remember, in a few weeks, eTruckBiz, we're going to have a brand new 2-day seminar capitalizing on Network 2.0. First day, we're going to talk about the economics of Network 2.0. Things are different, especially those of you that have already made the transition. Some of the folks are going to be there actually, so it'll be good to learn from what other folks have already gone through. But they would tell you that, again, things are different once you get optimized. And then day 2, there's a whole bunch of things we're going to have to do. We should have been doing them anyway, but it's going to be real important that we take a look at some of the operational aspects of Network 2.0. And here's just a few things that we're going to do at the seminar. So again, 19th and 20th of Huntsville, AC Hotel, downtown Huntsville, real nice place. If you want to sign up, you can go to training.etruckbiz.com. Okay, every week we look at the volume trends, and yeah, there we go, better. Things are turning to the good from last week, so that's a really good thing on the pickup side. And over on the delivery side, not as good, but still an upward trend. We want to make it back to the trend line there. Packages seem to be doing a little bit better than stops, so that's interesting. From a productivity standpoint, routes dispatched. Last week, I think we had some pretty bad productivity, but we put more trucks on the road.
Ouch.
So we're making drivers happy, but are your bank balances happy? Because we're making the drivers happy. My guess is no.
So for most of January, we were right around the 105 stop range, correct, Jeff?
Oh yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
Just we're not adjusting our dispatches for the lower volume levels, which is the key to this business, folks. Okay, in the news, let's see what's going on over here at UPS. Oh my word, look at that stock price. Down 18.29% in the past 5 days. And I think it's worse for the year so far. And so our friends at Susquehanna are letting us know that they're downgrading UPS's stock price. And one of the things they say here is we view UPS's decoupling from Amazon as strategically right-minded in the long term. Nearer term, the glide down drives concern about execution risk, and parcel profit growth without revenue growth is historically rare. Here's an article from the Wall Street Journal. UPS's boss is under pressure from unhappy investors. And those are its own retirees. So detaching from Amazon triggers another slide in the battered stock, heavily owned by UPS lifers. So UPS boss Carol Tomei is under pressure to reverse a long slump in the company's stock price, especially from employees and retirees who have sized say under the company's unique shareholder structure. The package delivery giant's shares have tumbled 40% over the past 3 years, including its biggest single-day dive Thursday, which was last Thursday, after it said it would shrink its business with Amazon. Slump has created tensions among investors, especially UPS alumni, who collectively have seen billions of dollars of their wealth evaporate and who control 63% of the voting power. So here this guy Ed says, I'm not very happy with the stock price. A former pricing manager who spent 37 years at the company, like many UPS veterans, Baranek took some of his compensation over the years in the form of special Class A shares with super voting rights. How about that? I have concerns on the shrinking to greatness approach with the loss of Amazon volume. He said that UPS may face more volume declines after recently raising prices for delivery of non-urgent residential packages. If you take a look at the 3-year stock price performance here. Now, I'm no stock trading genius for sure, but looks to me like FedEx's stock has decoupled, as they say, from UPS's stock. Usually they moved in tandem, but I'd say there's a little problem there.
That's a gap.
So if you look when they decoupled, when was that? That was roughly the first quarter or so of 2023, where the FedEx Drive Initiative and Network 2.0 were announced. So a lot of people were wondering how the street was going to react to the whole thing. And in the short term is crazy stock price. But look at that long term over the last, say, 2.5 or so, 2.5 years. It's a big difference. So what's going on here? UPS's latest results didn't give investors much to cheer about. The company said its revenue in 2025 would come in about $6 billion, yes, with a B, below analyst forecasts after it decided to half the amount of packages it handles for Amazon, its biggest customer. Tomei said UPS wants to wean itself from Amazon because profit margins on that business are tight and eat into its profitability. However, she said, our future is very bright, Tomei told investors on Thursdays. We are not shrinking. I don't know about that. $6 billion below forecast on the revenue side. That's not shrinking.
I'm not a math major, and I didn't invent math, but I'm pretty sure 6 billion less is less.
Less. But they're not shrinking, so that's okay. I guess we're supposed to believe her. Oh, there she is. Profits soared when people shopped online during the pandemic, and investors cheered Tomei's financial acumen. So they got 40% more packages, and she's a financial genius. But as the pandemic waned, parcel volume slowed and profit margins suffered. Oh, who would have thought that? UPS shares have been under extra pressure since Tomei signed a 5-year labor contract with the Teamsters in July of 2023, boosting starting pay for part-timers as well as wages for existing workers.
Can I add something, Jeff?
Please.
They made money because their density improved. When density improves, productivity improves. Network 2.0 is all about increasing your density. A subliminal message that is being delivered right here.
Yes, sir. That's why we're going through it. Trim costs. UPS last January said it would lay off 12,000 workers worldwide, primarily managers. The company has since carried out more rounds of layoffs and sold off some business lines. Its biggest change came this week when the company decided to pull back aggressively from its Amazon contract, which accounted for roughly 12% of its revenue in 2023. Amazon provides millions of packages to fill UPS trucks, but the e-commerce giant has also built its own local delivery network and has been increasingly handling more of its own volume. Analysts say the low profitability of the massive contract has pressured UPS's profit margins, and several of them welcomed the company's decision. Got a couple questions for you. If Amazon can handle this unprofitable biz better than FedEx or UPS, why were they giving it to either of UPS or FedEx in the first place?
Because they can't.
They have notoriously lost money on their venture into the transportation industry ever since they started it. Now they're going to get back a whole bunch of unprofitable business. So who's going to get hurt here? Must be very bad business because it afforded almost a postal-like density for UPS. That's what Ken was saying. It had to be really bad business for UPS to give it back. Right? So here we are in the we told you so category. Last week, we explored what FedEx's moves and strategy are likely about, right? Last week, we said one of the things we said was because Network 2.0 is all about FedEx preparing to focus on its, or really, contractors, your core competencies, right? Which is all about FedEx's way to increase its margins. So we just heard there's a problem, right? What's UPS's problem? They've got a new contract with the Brotherhood that's costing them a fortune. But FedEx is going to attack this problem. They don't have the problem of the two-headed horse. They have what they're going to do is they're going to try to increase their margins via expanding the role of the contractor model, right? In most cases, not everywhere. The contractor model provides FedEx with the low-cost provider method of providing transportation for parcels. In light of UPS's margin struggles and consistent with the industry trend, FedEx is moving towards two types of service providers that most of you here on this call or will be watching this video that you probably fall in these couple categories here. So first of all, there are experienced, stable contractors that can handle leading their teams. These service providers are being offered opportunities in non-current domicile terminals, right? We're seeing this more and more, and I know some of you on here are doing this. If you can run a decent business, you're going to get offered some of these vacated or problem CSAs, right, Ken? Have we seen that?
Absolutely. We've got a customer doing a startup in 2 weeks in the North Carolina area.
We have several customers doing that, clients doing that. It's definitely becoming a trend if you want to look at it that way. And then CSPs that are going to be new to the business. So what we've seen here recently is, and for sure, we've been talking about this for years, but if FedEx doesn't think you can handle the new way, if they don't think you can handle Network 2.0, one way or another, they're going to have you find the door.
And we've seen that the last 2 days.
Well, yeah. But one of the ways to fill the holes is to get existing contractors and give them other opportunities in other terminals, which just said. But they're also, there seems to be, or we think it's prevalent now, there's a tougher vetting process in order to inject quality service providers into the network. So one of you on here, I'm not sure if you're on here or not, but there used to be something called AIM meeting, or there still is, Access into Management. I think it stands for, I'm not exactly sure, but anyways, AIM meeting. And it used to be with 2 or 3 FedEx folks, and you go through what amounts to an interview process, and they would try to decide if they think that you should be part of the team. That has now expanded to the last one that I'm aware of. There were 12 FedEx representatives on the AIM meeting. And each one of them, of course, had voiced their concerns, or they try to figure out if they think somebody can make it. So all these things are happening, folks, which leads us to today's main topic. So a lot of you on here are either going to stand up an operation in addition to the 1 or 2 or 3 that you already have. Some of you are new on here, right? So what are some of the keys to standing up these operations? So it definitely takes planning. And then once you plan for it, it's executing the stand up. And of course, you want to review what happened, what maybe didn't go well, what did go well, and go on from there.
And there's a lot involved with that planning. I know Jeff's going to hit on some of them, but it's everything from trucks to routes to targeting dates for completion. So there's a lot involved there.
As Ken just said, there's a lot more than what we're showing you here. And we don't think that you should do this on your own, but let's go through some of the things that need to happen. So the first thing, first and foremost, no matter what, you need to recruit more drivers than you think you need. If you're new to the business, you need to start recruiting drivers a month or more before you get started. A lot of people say, I don't have a business yet and I'm not recruiting people yet. I don't have jobs for them. I can't hire them. We didn't say hire them. We said recruit them, because when you stand up, Ken, what usually happens when somebody stands up?
If you're taking over one business, drivers leave. If you're taking over from a contractor that has been asked to leave, but their drivers are still there, there's a reason they were asked to leave, and those drivers that are staring you face might be the reason that they got asked to leave. So you will automatically be short drivers if you have not been recruiting and training drivers in the background.
Key thing there is drivers are going to leave for one reason or another. They're gonna part ways. So that's the thing that will kill every single startup, is not recruiting and having enough recruits on hand when you get started. Second thing here is we'd like to say use Bob to triage your DRO, FRO. So here's another huge thing. In either case, you need to look at how the area has been engineered to begin with. And I guess, Bob, if you want to, can you tell us say something about that, Bob? About new guys standing up to, or new folks standing up to certain areas or new areas that they're unfamiliar with?
Yeah, it's all about reducing your miles, following the methods, following the way the truck's loaded, making sure your drivers are following up with them, and just basically going in and taking a look at the area, what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, and distributing it so it's equal. So don't have one that's 3 hours, a route that's 3 hours, and another one that's 8 or 9.
Do you usually see, let's just say, incorrectly engineered areas when somebody stands up to a new contract?
Yeah. Yes.
Like all the time?
Yes. You got areas that are not contiguous. They're jumping over each other. There's no reason for that. FedEx has been talking about being contiguous, just your CSA, forever now. So why wouldn't you have your work areas contiguous? So you don't need extra miles, extra dollars.
Okay, so you'd want to get in there and take a look at what's going on. Do you want to just take over an operation, stand it up, and keep the current DRO and DRO practices in place?
I would say no, because this is your chance to properly engineer the area without any driver's feelings.
And again, too, that's where you're going to need to be recruiting the drivers, because if you got the same drivers in there, they're not going to be happy. They're going to be like, nope, that's not my area. That's not my area. I don't think any of them actually buy into your business. It is not their area. It's your area. And they're just running on the truck.
So those two things are huge. Recruit drivers and get a third party opinion about the DRO, FRO. Make sure that you understand what's going on there. Next thing is get ASM, OPP, and EMP. Those are our programs, and Becca's going to talk about them here in a little bit. But when you stand up, there are things to worry about, things to get involved in, and there are things that you don't need to worry about. right? So let's just take payroll for instance. Yes, you've got to administer payroll. You're gonna have to pay the folks, but you don't need to spend hours and hours getting that all set up, trying to figure out what's going on and whatnot. You need to stand that business up, not wait, get your attention diverted from what's important to something like some sort of administrative task that somebody else can handle. Let us handle that, right? Another thing you need to do is develop a standard budget and expense plan. So a lot of folks will get started. They look at the revenue of an area and say, I can do this or that. That's great. The revenue is a decent indicator, but if you got some kind of operating budget, right? Every one of these areas is unique. They have different budgets. They have different expenses that would FedEx would expect you to spend different amounts on different things. Do you know what that is? No, but we do. We can't figure that out for you. So develop a standard budget and expense plan. And then something we would call on-site time. So please don't do this. Please don't take over a business or start a new operation in another terminal and then stand it up without you being there. You're gonna have to be there, especially when it stands up, but even for some time after that. You do not want to stand it up. You're not able to be there. Another thing is establish standard operating procedures in the BOSS system or software system. You want to make sure that your procedures, systems, and processes are consistent across what will be most of everybody on this call. You're going to have your own network of terminals, right? It's not going to be the one operation that you just operate or the one location that you operate from. You want to be consistent across all your locations. You want to have a system for communicating results to drivers daily. It's another reason you'd want to have the software system, but you're going to have the drivers want to know how you think they're doing. You may not think so, but they do. They want to know. Another little trick here is a little key. You might want to, you should show up on the first day with a whole new set of uniforms. If for some reason you've already determined that you're going to replace some of the equipment, if it's possible to show up day one, day two with a new truck or trucks, boy, that's cool. You're really sending a message to that group that you're serious about fixing it up. You want to get your fuel cards in place, other ASM processes, said that before, but there's a bunch of administrative things that need to get handled before you stand up. You don't want to waste all your time doing that. There's things that you need to do. You need to understand the area, the characteristics of the area, the drivers, their names, that kind of stuff. Don't worry about the admin processes. That's what we're here for. Here is a very touchy subject. You'd want to get a BC evaluation done and not necessarily on your own. Yes, ultimately, if you're standing up an operation, you're going to have to make this decision, but it's a really good idea to have an objective third party, it should say, evaluation. How is that BC doing? Can that BC be saved? Is the BC great in the first place? BC might be fine. Can the BC be saved, or do you have to make a change there, right? That's not an exhaustive list of all the things you got to worry about at stand up, but it's a decent start. So again, establish clear communication channels, implement advanced technology solutions like eTruckBid, and then have regular training and development programs. Right? That's what our systems are all about. Okay, so I guess Becca wants to tell us about a few more things here.
Yes, thank you. So if you want to see why and how you can and will benefit from FedEx's plans, or if you are wondering about Network 2.0 optimization and want to get ahead of everyone else, come to Huntsville in a few weeks and we'll show you how you can benefit, just like Jeff said. This will be February 19th and 20th in Huntsville, Alabama, the 2-day seminar. And now we have the location set at the AC Hotel. If you would like to register, you can always just get in touch with one of us, email, call, or you can go to training.etruckbiz.com and the form will pop up for you to fill out. Also, back by popular demand, you can book an appointment with me to learn about the business support system and get the standard budget expense plan and your easy number like we were doing previously for some people. I know some of you may have done this already, booked a session with us, but we are offering this again. And this is customized for your CSA. So this is what it would look like. And then we go into detail with you, have a session. As you can see, the standard easy number up top, standard budgeted average dispatches per day. We fill all of this in for you with some info that you would give to us. And a standard budget and expense plan are critical to standing up new or additional operations. And so is the business support system. So our business support system is for service providers transitioning to Network 2.0, service providers expanding their operations to multiple facilities, service providers new to the business, and service providers who are remote. And the business support system consists of 3 different programs focusing on different areas of your business. So the first one we have is the Administrative Services Manager program so that you can manage your time effectively. Then we have the Optimized Performance program so you can maximize your efficiency. And then we have the Expense Management program so that you can control your costs. Basically, this will help simplify payroll, HR, benefits, recruiting, finance, productivity, taxes and accounting, time tracking, and much more. All in one place. So this will help to eliminate non-revenue producing activity so that you can concentrate on revenue producing activity. And if you'd like to make an appointment with me or get that optimized CSA analysis, this is how you can contact me. You can email me, or you can go ahead right to that website and book an appointment with me. My calendar will pop up and you can get right on there. And then that's the website to register for the seminar.
I'd like to add, so we've got some customers expanding right now. They took advantage of the business support system, and I think it's helping them more confidently that they'll be successful and they'll be prepared when that stand-up date hits. So definitely would encourage you to do that, especially if you've already started the negotiation process on this new CSA. That's something that we can help you with too. And as I said, it's the start of the report that Becca generates from her meeting. We did have one question. It says, who does the independent third-party BC evaluations? That would be myself and Bob. We would do those. It takes interaction. This isn't just a quick look at. We want to be able to interact with that BC in their environment because we think that's important, and to see how they take to coaching. Because I think that's where you end up with the biggest resistance, especially when you're trying to re-engineer routes resistance. So
Their willingness to change, because it's gonna have to change, especially if you've taken over somebody's area that FedEx said we no longer need your services. There's a reason why we need to change their thoughts and their behaviors.
And that's the one that's tempting. If you're purchasing a CSA in a contract with FedEx, and they might say, we love this BC. They might love the BC because they run good service, but at what cost? So then, I guess, as Bob said, are they going to be willing to change that they can still run good service, but do it efficiently? And if they're not willing to do it efficiently, it's not worth doing business. Another question says, with UPS dumping Amazon business, and if Amazon can't handle it, do you see Amazon approaching FedEx? I'll leave that one to you, Jeff.
The first company to dump Amazon was FedEx. So the temptation would be there to try to take it back on, but there was a reason they got rid of it in the first place. So I don't know if Amazon is willing to pay a little bit for it, maybe, but I tell you what, if both UPS and FedEx and the Postal Service is the wild card here, but it could be that the Postal Service no longer is going to be able to offer illegal discounts to Amazon as they have in the past. So the whole move here might put a big damper on all of Amazon's transportation network. So I don't think, unless something changes, some dynamics of the business change, I don't see FedEx picking up any Amazon business.
And like I said, I think that was one of UPS driving things, the cubic capacity. You're just handling large packages at a highly discounted rate. You can't make money. UPS then takes their what used to be called Smart Post FedEx. They're taking that back in to regain the density because that's more profitable than the Amazon business. So that just tells you how bad the Amazon business is. It's not good. So they're going to have to deal with it themselves. Great. Doesn't look like we have any other questions. We definitely appreciate everybody's time. Thank you very much.